Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. It's another day. It's nice. Well, it's pretty nice outside. I went and took the trash out, so it was feeling okay. It was like 50 degrees, I think, here in Cincinnati, Ohio. What did you miss between episodes? Not too much. Still kind of on the mend. Last night, so upset. I've been trying to stay off this promethazine type of medicine I have for my throat. Like if I'm coughing too much, my throat hurts. But last night, I woke up, I was like, oh no. So had to use some of that, and I was kind of miffed. But quick food corner though, I got a Little Caesars pizza with the stuffed crust bread. Stuffed crust bread is very good. You only get three sticks, but they're pretty big size. I think they're three, maybe there's four. I don't know. I ate it pretty fast. But what I'll usually do is I'll get a hot and ready pepperoni pizza because that's quick, and I don't want to wait at Little Caesars. But I'll get that, take it home, and I'll add some random toppings on top, like a weirdo. So I put pickles and relish on one part. I put peppers on the other part. I put some hot sauce on and some sriracha. I think I might not put the sriracha on, but it worked out. It was pretty good. Other than that, not too much to update you on. So we can get into some news. Let's see. First off, from the AP News, I got NY mobster who killed 3 escapes federal custody in Florida. So this is the story of Dominic Taddeo. He was a mobster. I guess he was on the end of his sentence, pretty much. He was in a halfway house, or he was being moved to a halfway house, according to the Bureau of Prisons. He requested, though, to get an earlier release. I think he only had maybe a year to go, but he's like, can I get out earlier than that? I guess because he was claiming health problems, including hypertension and obesity, which put him at risk, serious risk for COVID-19. And they're like, nah, you're all right. You can ride the rest of this out. And he said, fuck that. And he dipped, I guess. So they marked his status from, I guess being where he's supposed to be to placed on escape status. Yeah. So, okay, that's why. Because he had left an authorized medical appointment. So, awkward. I guess he's on the lam. He's on the run. Honestly, that's it's strange, but I get it. People get stir crazy, especially if you are worried about your health potentially. I don't know, in terms of I don't have much time on this earth. This guy's in his 60s, what have you. But yeah, I think it is a loose call all the same. I would have ridden out my sentence if I made it that far, right? And some other news. I got this from Huffington Post or HuffPost. This was I didn't expect to see this on my news timeline, but it popped up. DC police find 5 fetuses in home of anti-abortion activist Lauren Handy. Yeah. So Lauren Handy, she is a anti-abortion activist. She was already on the hook for some stuff that happened in 2020. She had a role in blocking a DC reproductive health care clinic, and she was indicted with 8 others. But there was a tip that she was harboring biohazardous material in her home, and police went to go check it out, and essentially they found 5 fetuses in coolers, and they drug them out. And let's see, Nathan Baca, I guess, is a TV guy or something like that. He interviewed her, and he says, this is from a Twitter post, "When I asked anti-abortion activist Lauren Handy what homicide detectives pulled out of her house Wednesday, she only said, people will freak out when they hear." DC Police Department now says it found 5 fetuses. I don't know what she's gonna do with these fetuses. I don't know what the play is here. Are you saving them? Are you trying to revive them? I really don't fucking know. I'm not trying to be crass or crude here. It's vexed me since I've read the article. What's the point? What's the statement here? Like you're already doing the most. You're already doing the most. Like she's at a bunch of like Planned Parenthood. She's on the street doing her thing. Like I don't understand why you need to take it to an even further level of like now I need the fetus. It's wild. People are wild, and I had to talk about that and put that out into the airwaves. Yeah. We can move on. I don't want to linger on it too much. It's really gross, and plus the stance is garbo in my opinion. Got this from The Athletic. It's an update on the whole Rooney Rule situation. NFL says Rooney Rule remains a crucial part of hiring process. Women now count towards filling interview requirement. So this is a pretty big update. It's giving women now a chance to get involved in football staffing, not just at the lower levels, but something that potentially can get them into the upper echelons, even up to potentially in the future, a head coach position. And they could get a head coach position potentially. It just sadly the odds are just so low statistically. There's literally only one black head coach, the coach of the Steelers. I should know his name. At my defense is I'm from Cincinnati. We don't give a fuck. But essentially, the addition of women is a good thing. People are worried about, though, like in terms of like, okay, so you're adding women, and that's great, but then doesn't that just make the competition pool harder for other minorities who are already trying to compete? It doesn't necessarily open up more slots. It's just saying that more people are able to get the position other than a white person. So, or white man, I should say. So, I mean, it is good, and they're definitely going to say, like, well, the counter was, like, well, there's not that many women even, interviewing and quote-unquote qualified for the positions that we're trying to offer. So, it'll remain to be seen, and they might revisit it if there is more of an issue with that. There's also some other stipulations that they added as well. Let's see, other diversity initiatives approved by the NFL owners on Monday include a requirement for all 32 teams to hire a minority coach, either a racial minority or a woman, to serve as an offensive assistant, working closely with the head coach, offensive coordinator, and other offensive assistant coaches. Rooney said this initiative is meant to deepen the pool of minority candidates in the pipeline for jobs like quarterback coach and offensive coordinator. This will be a full-time job, not an internship, and will be funded in part by a stipend from the league office. And also I've heard too, a little bit of like extra talk I've heard from like podcasts, that the offensive positions are usually more likely to get slated for a head coach position. So that's why that's kind of important as well. They added a pledge from league ownership to increase diversity among owners. Oop, got a burp coming, maybe. Little baby one. There's a big one. To increase diversity among owners, particularly in bids submitted by individuals and groups looking to purchase a team. The statement from ownership read, in part, that membership will regard it as a positive and meaningful factor if the group includes diverse individuals who would have a significant equity stake and involvement with the club, including serving as the controlling owner of the club. The league currently has no black owners, which is something I'm not too surprised about, if I'm being honest. Just the way these kind of things go, like it's a big money kind of situation on top of, just when you get the chance to vie for potential opening and ownership of a team, it's usually quickly sought up by, a white guy. That goes on to the next point. The Denver Broncos are currently up for sale, and Rooney said there are minority individuals who will be part of bids to purchase that team. And then lastly, creating an external diversity advisory committee composed of DEI experts and attorneys, as well as former Texans general manager Rick Smith, to review NFL's diversity policies. So we'll see. It's kind of a little bit murky. Once again, reciting back to the coach of the Steelers, he kind of kind of said something that I was kind of thinking. It's like, we'll see. This all sounds good, but the proof is in the actions. And if these actions actually have merit, then great. But if not, then, well, we are where we are. So just wanted to update you there. Get a little sports news in there. Got this a little bit of a law and I'll say intrigue. Got this from NPR. A former Yale employee admits she stole $40 million in electronics from the university. So that is a big play. And I like a good scam. I like a good hustle. We don't advocate them, but goddamn, this is a major bag alert. Let's see. The perpetrator is Jamie Petrone, 42. She pleaded guilty on Monday in federal court in Hartford, Connecticut, to 2 counts of wire fraud and a tax offense for her role in the plot. So essentially, she was a director of finance and administration for the Department of Emergency Medicine at Yale, and it gave her the authority to authorize certain purchases in the department, but it had to be below $10,000. So she would request a lot of electronics, like computers and things of that nature, and say like, hey, we need this kind of stuff for the school, for programs, this or that, something very specific. She would get the items, put the items in her car herself, or she'd also have staff order it as well. She would get these items, send them over, like she'd drive them over, and then like ship them out. And once they got resold, she would get a cut, and that cut would go into like a enterprise she had. Let's see, it's an LLC, a Massive Entertainment LLC, a company she created. So it was a racket, and she was making money. Essentially, though, there was a tip that that Patron was ordering suspiciously high volumes of computer equipment, and they found out. They did an investigation, and they found that was very true. And so she has also agreed to forfeit like her luxury vehicles. She has 3 homes in Connecticut as well. Property in Georgia may also be seized. Let's see here. What else is the damage? More than $560,000 that was seized from the Massive Entertainment LLC bank account. And federal prosecutors say the loss to Yale totals approximately $40,504,200. That's big. That's major. So she did her thing. That's fucked up. And, I don't know. It's one of those things where I definitely don't want to give flowers to people who are doing this kind of shit. But it is wild to hear these kind of stories, for sure. Let's see. Got this from The Hill, the next bit. The House approves bill legalizing marijuana. I was initially super stoked about this, but upon hearing like a reminder from just like other streams and podcast stuff, this isn't the first time that the House itself has moved to legalize it. It's great that they are trying to and that it's made it past the House, but there's already some people who are like, I don't know, I'm not sure. Manchin, of course, is like very anti it, of course, or at least he's skeptical. And there's others, and it's one of those things too where it's a mixed bag. Like Schumer, who is majority leader, he's for it, but there's like at least 2 Democratic senators who are like, nah, no thanks. One including, I believe, Manchin. So, it is a very tumultuous thing. I'm going to hit the turn to send vibes. Whoo, woosah, woosah. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I'll definitely keep you posted in terms of, if I hear the Senate ruling, how that goes. I'm not sure when they are set to convene about this. And some more news I heard that popped up that really gave me the ickies. I got it from The Guardian. Also, I believe I heard it too from BBC News. But microplastics found in human blood for the first time. Yeah. So essentially, there was a study. Um, let's see. Microplastic pollution has been detected in human blood for the first time, with scientists finding the tiny particles in almost 80% of the people tested. 80%. Like, ugh. They're not sure in terms of like is this gonna be damaging? I mean, it definitely does sound damaging. It's not like there's a way to like really get these microplastics out of us. They're just in there like swimwear. The damage in terms of, like, if it's potentially like cancerous, who knows? Maybe so. Can they like penetrate, sensitive organs and things like that? Who knows? But yeah, like we're fucking living with it. We're in the plastic is in us. Like, oh my god, reading the article gave me the icky ickies. Oy, oy, oy. And then they also make a good point in the article, like there's plastics, microplastics now contaminate the entire planet from the summit of Mount Everest to the deepest oceans. And I was like, damn, that's so true. Like there's plastic that's swimming probably in deeper parts of the ocean that we've ever ventured. It's just the impact of like our human consumption. And also the fact that like plastic production is set to double in 2040. That's a quote from Joe Royal, founder of the charity Common Seas. There's another burpee. But there is a UK government allotting 50 million euros or pounds to research the human health impacts of plastic. Definitely, it's a big concern in terms of like babies, like if from being even from a fetal baby coming out, fetal thing, and then coming out as baby, and then oh my gosh, like you've already been consuming plastics, you already have that in you. Like, what does that affect on you? I mean, there's a lot, but essentially there was the review paper that was published on Tuesday. A person they mentioned, Vithak. He's mentioned in this article from The Guardian. He's a part of the research. Very interesting, very cringe, but I definitely wanted to end on some good news. I'm toasting my beer, clink clink, to the Amazon Labor Union. Got this from CNN Business. Amazon workers at New York warehouse vote to form company's first U.S. union. Also, there is a fucking quirked up picture of Jeff Bezos on this article, and it's very funny to me because like he's balding, he's like chilling over a bunch of books, and like Amazon was initially a book distributor bullshitter thing. That was what it was. Let me have this drink. I'm talking. But so he just looks so hokey here, like, and now I see him now. He looks like a Bond villain. It's just so different. And he's older. Like, it's crazy what money will do to you. That's more or less the long short of that picture that I wanted to talk about. But flowers to the Amazon Labor Union. They made it happen. Let's see, the votes were in their favor, 2,654 to 2,131. I mean, it was a very close race. Previously, we've covered Alabama, Bessemer. They had a voting thing, and it didn't go their way. They did recently do a recount. I believe it was like actually 2 coasts to count. I actually would highly suggest that you check out this article because it does go into more details that I'm just not going to cover. But just in sort of the details in terms of like why it worked here as opposed to why it didn't work there. Something I kind of just didn't think about and notice is, I mean, obviously this is in New York. And as opposed to like where it happened in, Alabama. Just the difference in terms of, the culture, the demographic, some of the laws in place. It just definitely made a big effect. Also, the amount of people who are like just in union as opposed to in New York is just massively different. But yeah, this is a huge win. There's a couple other little fallouts too. AOC. She kind of got dragged a little bit for not showing up, but I mean, that's one of those neither here nor there things. It wasn't in her district. Also, she just couldn't make it type of thing. I think there were some other things too where there's a lot of focus on Christian Smalls, who is like the president of the ALU. I believe he has like a little bit of a rap career. Also, he was fired from Amazon for pretty much what he said was like, hey, leading this protest out during the pandemic time. But then from Amazon's perspective, they're like, no, he wasn't supposed to be on the premises. He wasn't supposed to be working. It was a COVID-related thing because he had potentially tested positive. It also brings up another point, too, because people who are present celebrating were people who are on the Starbucks side, which we've covered a little bit. But just the conversation of union busting is a really real thing. And it often comes up in the public eye as like very slight, very subtle, because these major corporations are very good at making, this not a wave, making this not a big deal. Even though they did win actually in this situation, Amazon is fighting it. Even though like, oh no, we're okay. We're glad that unions are a thing and people have a choice, even though we personally think that you don't need a union and we'd rather interact person to person, blah, 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 blah. Like, so they're towing a line, but at the same time, I do believe they are cracking a whip. It's just very behind the scenes. It's very low key. So hell yeah to the ALU. We are very pro-union at Isaiah's Newsstand. So yeah. So that wraps us up. I wanted to end on some good news. Thanks for putting up with my stuttering ass. And let's see. Shill mode. I got a Patreon, patreon.com/Isaiah News. If you want to get hit with that. Shout outs you get with that. You get like one shout out per month. And then you also get, what else do you get? Discord access, which is nice. Hopefully if I do some more projects, things like that. Also, it's tied to, I wanted to talk about my little gaming stuff I'm doing. On twitch.com, Sagacious Zeke is the channel /Switch TV. If you ever want to check me out, I'm just hanging out, usually doing something Magic the Gathering related, but other than that, I'm just loafing around. But yeah, just trying to do more stuff, spread out, make more content for everybody. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week, and hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.